we've got a lot to cover today. So without any further ado, let's get into it. And I like to always start these webinars off with really a little thought exercise here. And you'll see two very similar Facebook pages. Now they almost look identical, except there is one key difference, and that is the number of followers. So I titled this slide, "What is a good social following?" And we're going to talk about this. So as social media marketers, you probably look at these two pages, and if I were to ask you the obvious question up to this point of which page would you rather start with, more often than not, people with this information in front of them are going to pick the one with 1400, right? I don't want to start at 400 when I can start at 1400. But let me start to add some additional information here, and we'll see if you, at the end of this slide, stick with your answer. So the first thing is when the last post was done. So as you can tell, one on the left-hand side with more followers, they haven't posted in, what, 3 years now, 2021? But the one on the right just did yesterday. Let's add some engagement numbers. So just because I have a giant following on social media, a lot of follower count, doesn't necessarily translate to engagement. This one on the left, as you can see, 6 reactions, 3 comments, and 0 shares. One of the easiest way to get your content in front of other followers that are not currently following you is shares. They help your page by spreading awareness and overall reach with your post. Now, the one on the right-hand side with the fewer followers, 400 followers, that had around 65 likes and reactions, 5 comments, and 16 shares. That is some really good engagement numbers there. But you say, you know, if you're still not convinced and you say, I'd still rather take my chances with the 1400, at least there's a comment here or two. Well, let's check out those comments, right? One of them was, I stayed here back in October and the rooms were filthy. This is a common misconception that a lot of hoteliers seem to forget, is if I'm not active on social media, that doesn't necessarily mean my page is active. It's not going to do any sort of reputation damage to my property. The problem is travelers, consumers, we expect you to be to be active on social. So if I want to get your attention, I'm going to go straight up to your last post and I'm going to leave a nice comment there, not so nice comment, as you can see from the one on the left-hand side. But on the right, looks so inviting, right? And if we're a good social media marketing, we're doing some great social listening out there. What we would do from there is hopefully react to that comment, a really nice comment, potentially invite them to the property, comment, share, all of that good stuff to get that engagement. So all of this to say, do build a following and not a follower count. So if you join this webinar to say, hey, I'm just looking to get a couple quick 100 followers, this is not the webinar for you. You could easily go right now online and buy followers, but that is not a true following. We want an engaged following. We want advocates for our hotel. They're going to help us convert business online. That's what social media marketing is all about. So before we get into how to grow and some best practices and tips, let's start with how not to grow your hotel's following. And hopefully no one on this presentation today is falling into these pitfalls. Angling for metrics, boring content, repetitive content, inauthentic content. You know, I've been seeing a lot more of those AI generated images online on social media. You know, as genuine hospitality, there might be some angles where that works, but consumers, travelers these days, they want authenticity. They don't want fakeness, especially from a place where they're going to be traveling, spending their hard-earned dollar, and clickbait. So these were from a Hootsuite 2024 social media consumer report, which asked what has caused you to unfollow or hide a brand in the last 12 months. So again, hopefully no one on this is following through these pitfalls, but this is what an inconsistent social strategy looks like. If you don't have the bandwidth to do your social media posts consistently, you could fall into one of these pitfalls. So let's get into it. Let's talk about how we can grow our following, and not just any following, a good following, an engaged following. One of the easiest ways is by tagging and being tagged. So I'll give a couple examples here. This property was putting on an art showcase and was brilliant in the fact of on Instagram decided to tag those artists that were participating. Um, so what this does, this reaches the audience of obviously the artist, and hopefully the artist engage back with this post because they want to generate publicity, they want to generate awareness and reach about this event that's happening at the hotel, and what you're hoping is that some of those find interest in the hotel, like what they see on your feed, and follow. So tagging, I've been a big proponent of not only tagging individuals like you see in this example, but local businesses, right? There's a lot of shared benefits to tagging that breakfast cafe around across the street, that attraction that brings a lot of business into your hotel. These are all places that you should be tagging, and hopefully on the back end, like I said, that social media manager is at the other business is paying attention so that they can engage with your post. And then also being tagged. I've said it before. Social listening so key. Do not miss an opportunity when someone tags your property, especially in a positive light. We've seen these pet Instagrams become more and more popular, right? This just happened to be, what is this? Mallow the Frenchie staying at the property. So what did the hotel do? Reached out to that Instagram, asked for permission to share that so that they could get some really good engagement from that post and hopefully get in the audience of Mallow the Frenchie so that they can come stay and grow their following too. So great work there. But sometimes without even tagging, we can know when people are at our property. And this is an exercise I love to do. If you are a hotel that is not on Instagram, or even sometimes hotels that are on Instagram, go to the search feed and actually type in your address, your physical address there, and you will see that everyone that is posted with their location on in that area will then show up on this feed. And this was a great example. This was a beach in a hotel, beach a beach hotel in Miami Beach that had an influencer there that didn't even know it, didn't tag the property, but because they were on their location, it actually shared on Instagram where they were. And this post alone had 23,000 likes. Imagine the power that one post held if the property were to see that, engage with it, share it. That is a huge opportunity for massive growth, not only in your followers, but also reach and brand awareness, which we're always looking to do on social media. That's one of the main points, right? So, as you can see, 23,000 likes, truly unbelievable there. Now, not every single property might have, an influencer to that level, but even a couple thousand likes is a really powerful post in some markets. So let's talk about growing beyond your following, right? So if you don't have someone in your audience that decides, hey, I'm going to share this post with my following, how can I get in the eyes and ears of prospective travelers? And one of the ways, huge, massive opportunities right now is in Instagram Reels and For You and Explore page. So if you go to Instagram and you click that magnifying glass, it brings up your Explore page or your For You page. And what that algorithm is going to do is actually going to find interest based on videos and reels that you've watched previously and start to throw new content that you're not following in that feed. Now, luckily, we work in hospitality, one of the best industries to work in. And a lot of people like to travel. That's no secret. So a lot of the times, travel content, maybe even it's fallen on your For You page, will find itself in your feed. So if you are creating Instagram Reels and sharing that, you have a real opportunity there. And this is something that we found through various studies and surveys that we've done with our hotel database that not a lot of hotels are taking advantage of. In fact, so much that we actually introduced Instagram Reels and TikToks for hotels late last year. And the analytics that we've been seeing on these videos, I'm going to show you actually an example here in a second, have been absolutely incredible because of stats like this, right? Reels have a reach rate of 76% and an average impression rate of 34%. This is what we call growing beyond your following, and this is how we can build that really that advocacy and following on places like Instagram. The other way we can do that is, organic three-way reels. But if you want to get more strategic, social ad spend cannot speak highly enough. In fact, for our social partners, every single hotel social media partner we work with has social media in their package, in their solution. That is how much we believe in social media ad spend and how much it can build a brand and awareness for your hotel online. So this was an Instagram reel, a boosted video that we created for this hotel. It had a reach of almost 1,000 impressions, over 1,500, 63 engagements. We love to see that. Those are some incredible stats. But almost 27% of the reach came from that boosted video. The impressions, 279, and we had a couple engagements there as well. Typically, you're going to get the engagements from the following yourself, but if you don't, any sort of engagement is good engagement there. So social media ad spend, really a great way to grow beyond your following. And same is for B2B, right? LinkedIn. This is where wedding planners, event planners, sports team planners, this is where they all come to be on LinkedIn, where you can leverage this social media ad spend. As you saw, this is actually a campaign that Travel Media Group did, and you can see the sponsored engagement versus the organic engagement there. A huge amount of clicks coming from that sponsored engagement. And then you can actually see on LinkedIn how your followers were grown, whether it was organically or through sponsored ad content. So analytics, absolutely huge in this. I will put a thing of caution to social media ad spend. One of the biggest comparisons we see with social media is a digital billboard, right? If we've been in a marketing class or anything like that, we call it your digital billboard. There's a big difference between that billboard being placed right on the side of a highway where prospective travelers are, or in the middle of the forest on an old dirt road. The same thing can be true with social media ad spend. Make sure that you are spending it in the right place. You have a strategic partner or expert that's doing this. We work with thousands of hotels. We work with hotels specifically, so we know what type of campaigns and where that spend is best spent in order to get the most engagement. So make sure you're working with a professional partner or have a really targeted audience of who you're trying to attract. And that all just comes to your consumer base and who's staying at your hotel. Hashtags. This is a great one, and it's actually used very differently for different platforms. So I wanted to review that, and we've got some great tools which I'm going to share for you as well outside of our organization that you can use on hashtags that are really, really cool today. Hashtag best practices. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, you really want to put those hashtags at the back of your copy. And just, I'm sure all of us know, but for any refreshers, maybe people new to social media, when you click on that hashtag, you're going to see every single post that included that hashtag, right? So a best practice would not be, hashtag hotel in Orlando near Disney World with a pool. Not a lot of people are going to search that hashtag, but maybe a hashtag travel, hashtag summer, hotels in Orlando might be a good one for a place like Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to share why it might not be so well in LinkedIn in a second. Now, however, X, they use their hashtags a little differently. So you actually use hashtags within the copy there to grow engagement. So hashtag travel to our beautiful hashtag hotel this summer, rather than putting those hashtags at the end. So again, just different platforms, different ways to use them, but you want to make sure you're using them appropriately, and the ones that are going to get you the most reach. And that's what comes to LinkedIn, right? We want to make sure we're using B2B hashtags versus C2B. So this is a great example. This was something that a post that I drafted on LinkedIn. I actually used a really cool tool, which I suggest to everyone, is a hashtag analytics. So it'll actually show you how many followers are following that specific hashtag. So as you can see, as we get broad, we've got 6.9 million followers on LinkedIn that are following travel. But as we get a little bit more granular and specific, like hotels in Orlando or hashtag travel bucket list, the followers become fewer and fewer. So I think this is a great example here. There's really cool hashtag tools that I would really invite you to explore, so that you can make sure that you're using hashtags in the best way. But as I mentioned before, hotels in Orlando, or I'm sorry, travel bucket list on LinkedIn, not really a B2B hashtag, only has 25 followers. I guarantee you, if you use that same hashtag on Instagram, your feed is going to be full of it, because it's more of a B2C hashtag there. Social competitions. So obviously, look at the stat. Great way to grow followers. Now, I will say you might have some follower drop off after that competition has officially ended. But one thing I will say on the positive side of social competitions is that if people come to your page and see that you're doing these social competitions or contests, throughout the year, that might be they might be more willing to follow your page, because they say, hey, I didn't win this competition, but it looks like they do these every quarter. Let me go ahead and follow and make sure that I'm, ready for the next one when it comes around. So great way to build your followers. Obviously a lot of intricacies. If you're going to run one of these, make sure you've got your terms and conditions. Make sure you're highlighting the prize if you have permission to do so. But a really great way to get engagement and follower growth. Excuse me. Invitations. Okay, so this is one of my favorite ways to grow your page, and it's done because you have already some sort of connection. So we'll start on LinkedIn. For those hotels, which hopefully everyone has a LinkedIn page for their hotel. If not, you are missing out on a huge opportunity. Like I said, a lot of B2B business, group bookings, corporate bookings, awareness can be done through LinkedIn. Once you get to your page there, go ahead, click those three dots there and invite your connections. So hopefully what you've done is you've started building your LinkedIn community, and you can invite your connections to follow the page. Since there's that connection, it's a personal invitation from you. Hopefully more than likely, they're going to be following your page, and that can grow your follower account by dozens. And if you get everybody in the organization involved, you have a big hotel, big resort. You could even be in 25, 30 people following all at once. Similar thing on Facebook. I love the way Facebook actually does this. So this is actually a social media post that was an ad, a boosted ad. You can see tons of engagement here. And when you click that engagement piece, you actually have the ability that if they are not following your business page, but they've engaged in your content, you can send them a personal invitation. And with the hopes of, you like this piece of content, well, check out, we have a consistent strategy. You're going to love these other posts here. Great way to get follower engagement, because again, you're proactively reaching out to these followers to help build your page. And then if you're familiar with Meta Business, your Meta Business page, and you've connected both your Facebook and your Instagram to this, it also gives you some ways that you can send invites between social media platforms, which brings me to my next point. A great way to to grow a following on one platform versus another. A lot of times, if someone's following me on Instagram, you'd want them to follow you on Facebook. So what we do with our hotel partners is create this social media landing page. So this is a QR code. It's kind of a one view link that has all of their social media pages in one place so that you can encourage travelers to visit you here and then hopefully follow not only one account but multiple accounts. We know that if we can build our audience across different platforms, it's just going to lend us more credibility and put us in a better position to convert ultimately. Now, as we wrap up here, I want to talk about growing followers at every step of the traveler's journey. Now, as hoteliers, we really fall sometimes under saying that the only reason I would use social media or the only way that I can get followers is either at the very beginning, at the very end, right? Inviting them, hey, if you liked us, follow us, for the next time for you to come back, or follow our page here. This gives you inspiration to travel. But really, in that research phase, is a great place to gain followers. You want to follow us now so you don't miss out on any of the exciting events that we put on at the property, any of the seasonal menu items that we're going to be releasing next week. The post-booking pre-stay phase is very important, and it's gotten more important since the pandemic because brands have given more flexibility to the traveler now to cancel at a moment's notice. And also, as travelers, over the last couple of years, we've spent a lot of time rearranging trips because of unforeseen circumstances that we feel more comfortable in canceling that trip or changing hotels that we didn't back, a decade ago or so. So that post-booking, really what we want to do there is invite our guests to follow us so that we can get them excitement, build excitement for their trip so that they can share what the pool looks like in the summer, what a hot breakfast looks like in the morning. All of these things to have essentially booking confirmation that I made this booking decision to stay at this hotel, and I'm continuing to see it in my feed. And I'm getting more and more excited about my stay. Just think about the way that you personally travel. How many times have you gone back and visited that hotel? Rarely are the days that we book and then we show up to the hotel and say, "Oh yeah, I forgot that that the pool looked like this, or the lobby the check-in was over here." We like to be prepared. Travelers, especially using their hard-earned dollar, they want to have that expectation set, which is all in that part one of the success series. And then in stay, right? A lot of people feel a lot more comfortable on this than they do picking up those old phones or even face-to-face anymore, right? My request, let your traveler know. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. If you need more towels, anything at the property, feel free to DM us. We're listening on social media. You'll also be able to see things like our pool hours, our frequently asked questions. In-stay is a great place to build follower growth as well. So as we wrap up, I just want us to reflect real fast because really social media in the hotel industry has come so far from when we were talking to hotels, back in 2018, even just 8 years ago. When we were talking and consulting with hotels, we used to say, who's running your social media? What's your social media strategy? And a lot of hoteliers would say, I picked the youngest person at my hotel because they probably have a Facebook or an Instagram and they run it for me. And as time progressed, we learned, well, maybe we shouldn't give something with that much power to a front desk agent anymore. So what hoteliers did was shifted that role and shifted those tasks, the social media strategy, to the director of sales. And now, in 2024, we've gotten to a place where some hotels are hiring specifically for a social media manager. They know how important and impactful having a social media presence is online, that they have a department or an individual that is dedicated to managing their social media. And that is why we have seen more hotels and management companies reach out than ever to Travel Media Group, to the experts in social media management strategy. And because what's happening now here we are in a staffing shortage that's been lingering on, is these social media management and strategy duties have been falling by the wayside. And before you know it, your page could look like the one that we talked about. So, in fact, with the survey that we just conducted, that you talk about the opportunity, only 28% of the hotels that we surveyed are posting multiple times per week. Our social media solutions, we post 4 to 5 times per week. That is a minimum that we do for our hotel partners, because we know that our travelers are on our pages every single day, engaging and wanting to follow your pages. So, with that being said, we are happy to announce, this is the first time we're announcing, you'll probably hear a lot more of it, but we just passed the million social media follower threshold for our social partners. So all the thousands of hotels that we work with across the 5 major platforms, we had just passed the 1 million mark in social media followers. But this is more than just a count. Like I said at the top of this webinar, this is a following that we've built, and everything that we do is for hotels and social media engagement to build their brand, build awareness, and build reach. So thank you so much today. I am going to go ahead and launch a poll